Well, good afternoon or good evening, depending on which part of the USA or the world you're in. I am Bruce, aka the guy in the blue shirt, as I'm known here on LinkedIn. And my method is simpler, faster, better. And that is a great way to introduce Emily and Raul. So, Emelyn, you're going to go first. And we're talking here about technology and people and performance. So, over to you, Emelyn.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Bruce, for having us here. And I'm looking forward for a conversation. It will be really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, well, I'm the project manager of Verduzco Consulting. My name is Emelyn Valero. And yeah, I'm so happy for your invitation. Thank you.
You're welcome. And where are you sitting, or where are you based today?
Well, I'm in Venezuela, in
Oh,
a beautiful place that is called Mérida.
awesome. I've not been to Venezuela, so hey, you never know.
Yeah.
May show up and do a LinkedIn local in person there with you. How about that? All right, so Raul, over to you. You're on the other part of the planet called Michigan.
Yep. Yeah, I'm in Michigan, and if anyone uses a hand to figure out where you're located, that's normal.
Right. Absolutely.
So, I'm the owner of Verduzco Consulting. I'm a technical consultant. Obviously, Emily is my project manager, and also, myself. I've been an engineer for years and went on my own about 6 months ago. And Emily has definitely helped me establish myself, get myself going, and she's a few months left in school, and eventually she'll be coming here to help support Verduzco Consulting as an engineer.
Awesome. Yeah. So what's your degree in, Emelyn?
I'm majoring in electrical engineering right now.
Oh, all right. Electrical engineering. I know nothing about electrical engineering.
What, Bruce? I thought you're an engineer.
Well, I'm a quasi-engineer, so it's real interesting. Let's talk a little bit about people, and what people may not always know is how people can be conduits, like electrical connections, right? I know that much, that you can conduit cables around. So 𝐶 Marie was our conduit. She introduced me to Raul, and then where did it go from there, Raul? Do you remember?
I'm sorry, could you repeat it, Bruce? It was a little muffled on my end.
So we're talking about people, process, and technology a little bit today. So I was saying about on the people side, 𝐶 Marie introduced me to you, and then it went from there. So talk a little bit about how that went and how we got to come to do this live on the people side. It's a great example.
Yeah, no. Obviously, 𝐶 Marie is our, I guess you say, our business coach. I know for me, when I first started, my first business coach was Lisa,
mm-hmm.
and this is before anything I developed up to this point.
Right.
And so one of the things that Lisa brought up to me, and she goes, you get yourself out there, you need to be on camera, which obviously this is very uncomfortable for me. I don't know if you could tell.
You're good. I'm timer. I was a first timer myself. So
yeah. Well, so Lisa was pushing me to do something, get yourself out there. And so I did a Google search on LinkedIn, and I found 𝐶, and went through her program and got myself to where I'm at. And I know you're going through the same thing. And so
right,
at least for me, one of the things that she does very well is connect people, because she sees, say, the synergy. She sees, hey, these two can help each other out. I know she's introduced me to a couple of people she knew, and it's definitely worked out, as in, I should say, business adventures, good connections, and everything else. And so, obviously, you and I, Bruce, we talked and found out how similar we are, even though it's different parts of engineering manufacturing. So I definitely, obviously, both of us saw there was synergy in what we do and what we can accomplish. And we both had the same mindset, as in your slogan, simpler, faster, better.
Yeah, you bet. All right. So how did we get connected with Emelyn?
With Emily, oh well. I hate to say this. I know we're talking about this offline. I'm like, I got to repeat myself again. So,
no problem.
No. So during Tisha's process, one of the things that she mentioned was, part of obviously putting yourself out there online is writing articles about yourself. And so for me, I'm not the greatest writer. So I knew I needed to find somebody who was better technical writing and reviewing my material. And so I went searching for a freelancer, and that's how I found Emily. And it turned out to be great because, she's majoring in electrical engineering. And so she understood my lingo. That was the hardest part about finding somebody who's, technical writer, but at the same time, understands your lingo.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you have the same problem, Bruce, and you're
Well, interesting enough. Well, we'll come back to Emily in a minute. So, Emily, what's the most interesting thing you found with working with people, obviously with different places and, like Raul said, different lingo or acronyms? There's a lot of acronyms. So what's the fun thing you found working with different people so far?
Well, for me, like the best thing to work with people overseas is like know the culture, for example, because we share how everything is going there or here, and it's like we improve the information that what we wanna share with people. So I found that it really amazing, and of course, working like this is trying to kind of relax in some way, because for example, I can choose my hours to work and everything, but it's really important to have like to really feel the how do I say that, to really do the work, like he trusts me, and I have to do everything like he wants, like he waits for me, and that is really amazing. I mean, this has been a really good time working with Raul.
Yeah, it's amazing because people, what I found, and people ask me, well, Bruce, why do you put all the effort into LinkedIn Live? And I tell them it's simple. I go to Global University twice a week, right? So now I'm learning from you in Venezuela, Raul in Michigan, and what I have found is, interesting enough, is people are actually more alike than they are disalike. And if you can just focus on what they're alike around, and then back to your point, Raul, about lingo, that's why I came up with calling my method simpler, faster, better, because there are so many acronyms out there, and I could talk in sentences and acronyms, and people would say to me, Bruce, what did you say?
Yep. And that's probably the most challenging part is being able to, as an engineer, and being able to get everybody else to understand what you're saying.
Right.
I think that's probably the most challenging part, just because, and I'll give you an example. One of my managers, 10 years ago, we're in a meeting, and the tier 1 supplier came in, and they reprogrammed a robot.
Right.
And I'm explaining to him what they did. And he just comes up to me, puts his hand on my shoulder, and says, well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't understand a word you just said. He goes, now, let me ask you, what he did, does it make sense to you? And I said, yes. And he goes, okay. Do you trust it? I said, yes. He goes, okay, we're going to.
Yeah, we're good, right?
So, it's like I said, it's at times tough. And I've learned over the years to, I guess you say, simplify it for everybody. So
yeah, it's funny because simpler and then faster and then better, what people don't always realize is that you have to slow down to be able to go faster. So So even though my method is simpler, faster, better, it's a little bit twisted because to get to the faster, you have to slow down to be able to simplify, to do things better, and then you go faster. So the words kind of rhyme very good when I have them simpler, better, faster, or, you know, faster, better, simpler. So simpler, faster, better just happened to be the way that I liked it. So, but it's very interesting because when you really, and I think a benefit, and I love to work with people from other countries and other parts of the globe, is that it forces that simplification of not only explaining something, but it also forces the words that you use, right? And I was always told that, hey, Bruce, if you're going to write something technically, make it readable by a 6th or 8th grader or a 10 to 12-year-old person, right?
Yeah. No,
go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, honestly, hush up with this. You bring up a good point, and this is from one of the books I've read from 𝐒𝐶 𝐬𝐳. He talks about, as in, you pretty much brought it up as in, you need to develop a system that works.
Absolutely.
So that way your system runs smooth. And I try doing that with my team, and that's one of the things I try to teach Emily. I know she gets it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we try to develop a system to where it's smooth, it's easy, everyone understands it, and you'll be able to move forward like that.
Well, I'm going to come back and answer that in a minute. I just hi to Anthony. Anthony is a loyal supporter. In fact, I'm going to be a moderator for him on one of his virtual summits that he's doing later this week.
He looks really happy in that picture.
He's a good guy. He's been a LinkedIn Live guest with me before, him and 𝐬𝐿yn, and actually 𝐬𝐿yn lives in the same city as me. I just recently found out. So,
they live in Arizona?
Yeah, in Tempe. So 𝐬𝐿yn is business partner. So it's a small world. So so back to you know, particularly working with somebody in a different time zone and a different country. What I found is that if you can remove or minimize the wasted process steps, time, and money, everything I've always found, and people say, well, Bruce, it can't be that simple. Well, actually, it is that simple. The beauty of people is we overcomplicate things, particularly if you're creative. So the problem I have, I'm pretty creative on one side, and on the other side, I've got to be systematic. So I'm in this constant fight with myself around, well, but what I found is that if you can put everything into the 3 buckets, you know, is this a process step, or is it time, or is it money or other resources, and then really take all the waste away from the steps, time, or money, it's amazing how simple the process can become. So,
you know, I have a different saying. You know, I usually tell this to engineers. I say, look, I want you to design this to where I don't get a phone call again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want this to design where you don't get a call, you do not get a call, and I do not get a call.
Right.
Because, like you said, people love to complicate things.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, what's your biggest win, do you think, in helping Raul and his clients?
Sorry, the biggest
win. What's your biggest success in the almost 1 year that you've been supporting Raul? What would you say would be your most memorable thing that you've done for Raul and his company?
Yeah, because right now, for example, for me, the biggest win has been to become the project manager. Because, of course, for example, I started as a technical writer, and I was helping Raul with everything. But right now, I'm helping a whole team. And for me, that it's amazing. And of course, all as a team help Raul clients. So that is what has been really amazing. And for example, when we post something, we share an article or something, and people like it, it feels really great to catch the people. It's really nuts. it's knowing what we want to share. For example, okay, our company, or Raul's company,
Right.
it's looking for solutions, and
Right.
we're given that. So that
Sure.
is really amazing.
Well, we'll come back to solutions, but you may or may not have heard this. So I'm going to do acronym.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So Emelyn, team means together, everyone achieves more. So if you want to write that acronym down, so and in my particular case, I love to develop what I call high performing teams, or integrated process teams, or integrated project teams, or integrated product teams, depending on what it is. And what I have found amazing is that people like yourself that are high potential leaders, they love it. They love it like their favorite chocolate or their favorite dinner, or whatever their favorite thing is. And if you can get that person in the right place doing the right work, team really happens. So together, everyone achieves more. So that's probably the only acronym I'm going to throw out there right now.
Well, how many more you got?
Oh, it's funny you should say that. My last, because I'm a special assessor called an 𝐻𝐸 auditor. So don't ask me what all that is, but 𝐻𝐸 is a very special acronym for certain aerospace and aircraft companies. And when I asked to see all the acronyms, I literally got a book. All of the acronyms that they use.
You're like, I was just kidding.
And then the other crazy thing is they have the same acronyms with different meanings. So you had to know what context they were saying the acronym in. It was just unbelievable. Yeah, I think it was probably 26 pages long of acronyms, something like that.
Yeah. It's funny. The English language is like that, depending on, an acronym, what location you're at.
Oh, absolutely.
In the city, or I'm sorry, the country.
Right. So I feel sorry for Emily trying to figure out all this Raul and Bruce and other technical speak. Is like, she must be like, oh my goodness. All right, so let's talk about solutions. Actually, my holding company is called Carnahan Process Solutions. Not very novel, but what I found is that what I really do is I end up doing process cleanups. So that's actually the name of my DBA, or small business entity here in Arizona. I named it Process Cleanup because ultimately that's what I do. And when people would say to me, well, what do you do? I used to go into all this technical speak, and somebody who didn't know me said, oh, it sounds to me like you clean up processes. And yeah, I did. So it was actually somebody that knew nothing about what I did gave me the idea for process cleanup. So I'm thankful for them. So that was cool. So solutions, what are you seeing, either of you, what are you seeing emerging, some solutions that we may not have thought of before in solving problems in the marketplace?
I guess just to deep dive a little bit more, what marketplace are you referencing? Kind of more.
Talk about where you specialize. And again, I know client confidentiality comes in here. So
I guess for me, one thing I noticed since I've been on my own, how should I put this? I've been in manufacturing majority of my career.
Me too.
And I've noticed that because I've done automation, especially custom design automation,
right?
There's companies outside of manufacturing,
right,
that they do a certain process, whether that's kind of a filtration design, or food and processing, or pharma world, or whatever. There's automation that could be added to their equipment. I don't think they know that they have these options.
Right.
And I think mainly it's because the suppliers they typically go to, they give them the same design that they always give.
Right. Sure.
And they don't see that, hey, you can improve this. you can make this so much simpler, faster, better.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of amazing to me that I'm like, don't you know, guys know you can do this? And sometimes they just need somebody to help them out.
You know, Raul, what I found though is some people, if you don't know what you don't know, and that's not an excuse, that's just a reality. And like you, I've worked across different industries, and you know, people say to me, well, what makes you unique, Bruce? And it's, well, I've worked in 27 different industries in 5 countries, you know, and what I found is what you see as normal in one industry is novel or unique in another industry. And particularly in the service sector, you know, I'm very lucky. I got to spend 5 years of my career in non-manufacturing, non-product. It was all in the service sector. And they were blown away by some of the things that, you know, I brought from manufacturing into even organizing their supplies, even organizing their coffee, tea, and soda, so that they never ran out of coffee, tea, and soda and sugar. You know, that I set up a little Kanban system for all of their inventory, and they were like blown away. And by the way, I saved also $100,000 a year when I did that, so they weren't over purchasing or under purchasing. You know, got all their inventory in balance, and they were just staggered that, you know, nobody had ever, even the vendor supplied materials, you know, where vendors or coming into the building, they never ever shared the technology that they were using on their end, and I find it amazing. You know, it just blows my mind sometimes. The simplest stuff that's the most powerful is not being used in other industries. So, anyway, that's my little rant.
Exactly. You know, just alluding to your point, you know, I've obviously worked in many different manufacturing areas, and
right.
You know, I worked in gear cutting, for example, and you know, at that time when the cells, they were only building 300 parts a shift, and when it was supposed to be like 800-900, and I wasn't aware that they were struggling with it. I knew it was down, and so my manager spoke to me and said, "Hey, you know, we need to get those numbers up." And so, you know, one of the first things I did was create an open issues list because they didn't have one.
Right.
And I made it to where the lingo matches to where the tier 1 supplier could understand what was the problem. And so then they were able to fix all that. And then, you know, got it up to like 700 a shift.
Right.
Just that extra 1-200 was the problem. And part of the problem was the part wouldn't sit still. It would teeter-totter. And it was because the base wasn't wide enough. And everybody thought, you know, especially me being electrical, I've done a lot of programming throughout my career. And everybody's like, just program it, fix it through the program. And it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you need to do because you're an electrical engineer, because you're a controls engineer. That's the solution. Sometimes it's a mechanical solution. And so when I looked at it, I was like, this isn't the problem. The problem is it moves when the parts settle.
Yep. Well, that's again, Emelyn touched on it. That's the benefit of not only cross-continental teamwork, but also cross-functional teamwork. You know, what somebody sees as normal for them, like, you know, if you want to do something to a part, you've got to hold it steady and firm. You know, that's not what an electrical engineer sees as, right?
One of the things that I did was I was like, look, you know, I brought one of the skilled trades in, and he looked at it, he was like, oh, we just put a washer there. And that's all we did. And get the number.
Sure. Yeah, well, I think I share with you, and again, I've successfully used slow motion pit stop changes to show mechanics and tool makers, you know, where they're wasting their time, because my passion is car racing. So I've never forgotten the first time I showed what revolutionized changeovers for a NASCAR tire changes when somebody took a $2 tube of Loctite and they Loctited the wheel nuts over the holes before they had the automated guns, and that's how they took 2 seconds per wheel off of the pit stop, because the nuts were already right there. And you know, it was a $2 Loctite fix that made, and that team won the season. They beat everybody hands down because they were so much faster getting new tires on the car. And it's like everyone's saying, like, what are they doing? What are they doing? And they glued the nuts on the wheel before they put the wheel on the car. So so yeah, the simplest of things can have such a dramatic change sometimes. So
no, definitely. I was going to ask, so what's your favorite race car?
I'm IndyCar. I'm an IndyCar guy. So yeah. So here, I don't know if I can show. So even on my vision board, I have a 3D IndyCar, and the races I'm going to go to this year. And I've already been to 2. I got 3 more to go. And yeah, talking about cross-industry knowledge, I take video clips at IndyCar racing when I'm there, and I turn them into business tips, fast tips, because, you know, if you really want to see a high potential, high performing team in action, go see something that goes quick.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah. So what are you into, Emily, over there in Venezuela? What are you passionate about other than helping Raul?
Passionate about? Well, I was doing karate, for example.
Oh, you like
yeah,
cars?
that kind. Yeah, yeah.
So Formula One or different cars?
No. I mean, no. Sorry, I was talking about karate.
Oh, okay.
Those kind of things. It's what I like to do.
Ah,
for example.
okay.
And yeah, because for example, race cars and things like that, we don't have it here.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm actually not a girl that likes a lot of sports and things like.
So what do you like to do for creativity? What's your most creative thing you do?
Well, for example, I like CrossFit. I exercise every day, and yeah, that's how I get out the stress.
All right.
And yeah, for example, what I love most is to study, so I'm really enjoying finishing my career right now.
Yeah. Hey, CrossFit and studying, they can go together, because I'm sure when you're on the CrossFit, you can listen to audiobooks or watch videos or just read, you know. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, totally.
Simultaneous learning is a great solution. So, and again, I don't know about you, Raul, but I've seen a lot of opportunities sometimes where there's opportunities for simultaneous learning in a process, and people don't do it at all. It's like, well, you know, why aren't you using simultaneous learning opportunity? So
that's a interesting way of looking at it.
Well, an example of that is the last big assembly company I worked in. They were always having, it was a moving line as well, so slow moving line, but they were always having to put like their visual work instructions, pick them up and put them down. Well, what we did is we put them up on monitors in front of their workstation. So even though it only took a couple of seconds to pick up the visual work instructions for the next step and put them down, by the time you added that couple of seconds up across 40 workstations that were in this moving line, and for the price of, and 2 mechanics shared a monitor for 2 workstations. So for 20, you know, pretty low cost monitors, they could just look at their visual work instructions right in front of them. So that's what I mean by simultaneous learning, you know, learning what to do and then doing it right on the line there. So
you know, you kind of remind me of something. I don't know if you're aware, there are companies now that are displaying above, you know, exactly how to put a part together.
That's exactly what it was. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The visual work, they used to be printed on paper or laminated.
No. You said on the monitor. I'm talking about an actual camera and actually shows you a part, what bin to grab the next part, and it shows a little video on the side.
Oh, yeah. 3D. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I've used for complicated operations, you know, having a video clip inside of a PowerPoint is all you need. Yeah. Absolutely. Or mission critical, if it's a absolute critical quality step that they have to get right, those are the ones to use a little video clip. And the trick there is if you can have the video at the same speed that the assembler or the mechanic has to put things together, then it actually helps them stay in rhythm as well, or stay on time, you know, stay in takt time. So, an acronym, sorry.
You know what?
I don't know what takt time is, but
that's a great point, as in making sure the video goes at the speed of the person.
right, absolutely, yeah. Because what it does, if you're a little bit slower, you know, you got to keep up with the video. If you're a little bit quicker, where you might make mistakes, you got to slow down a little bit to stay with the video. So it's just another way of getting good standard work from, you know, different people doing the same work the same way to get the same output. So again, people overcomplicate standard work. I mean, that's what it's all about. Can you have different people do the same work the same way to get the same output? So pretty simple.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So what's coming up? We're going to wrap up here in a little bit. What's coming up in the next several months for both of you? Obviously, we're going to try and get Emelyn to the USA. That would be cool.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say one of the things we're moving towards is we're opening up our remote services. I had a few clients I spoke to on the, just regular introduction call. They were like, it'd be really nice to have a company that could, be able to do some stuff as in, update CAD drawings or maybe update HMI or develop some programs for them. That way they have a baseline for their engineers, because they don't need to hire a full-time person. They just need to do some of the small work. So that's one of the things we're presenting to our clients right now, and then also get into more of the consulting side to make sure that everything is, I guess you say, like I was alluding to earlier, there are companies out there, and obviously this, Bruce, that, hey, they might be able to improve their process. They might be able to improve their quality of work. They might be able to, add simple stuff to their line or to their technology, to get a better product, to be able to streamline their process.
Well, I'd love to help you and your clients. And then if you go further on the CAD stuff, Raul, let me know, because I actually have a guy that has his son just set up that whole thing in Utah, and he's also running with 3D printing technology with different materials at the same time as well. So
awesome.
And the reason they did that was for rapid prototyping. So, rapid prototyping, if you can save time, it's back to that, time is money, time is resource, time is reaction time, time is knocking the socks off your customers or delighting your customers, right? The faster and the better you do it, right? So, yeah.
That's right.
So when do you finish studying, Emily?
Well, I think next month.
You think?
Next month? And
next month?
I think, because I'm finishing my thesis, and has been kind of hard because it's not a really easy project. I'm working right now. I know it's not exactly the field that, for example, Raul works, but I'm working with epilepsy. So it's another field that we can also develop with electrical engineering. But yeah, I'm looking for get my degree on July.
All right. Yay. Celebration time. What are you going to do for celebration, Raul?
celebration, or well, more Emily.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I'm putting you
No.
on the spot. You need to recognize all of her effort. So
I know. Obviously, probably, how should I put this? As soon as she gets here, we'll probably celebrate that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting the visa would be mega celebration.
Yep.
Right? Absolutely. All right. Well, cool. Well, thanks for chatting, guys. And thanks for letting me be your first host of your very first live stream. So thanks so much. And yeah, great to go to Global University in Venezuela a little bit. So thank you for that over there. And also Michigan as well. I've not been to Michigan for a while. I used to fly through there all the time when I was in Erie, Pennsylvania. So, but not so much now. All right. So just hang a little minute and I'm going to do my selfish little outtake if I can find it, you know.
I just want to say thank you, Bruce, for having us on. We really
We'll just hang a minute and we'll say goodbye. So, so
Oh.
my standard is 3 clicks or less. Can I find what I need in 3 clicks or less? So I've just done 2. This is the 3rd one. So hang on.
So, what if your processes do not work well? Did you know you can save or eliminate massive amounts of wasted steps, time, money, or other resources? Bruce can show or teach you how. Take the next step. Visit his website at processcleanup.com and book a casual yet confidential call with Bruce. It just might change your world forever.
There we go. See, 3 clicks for that. I got my outtake video.
Awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
Really good, Bruce.
Yeah, and thanks to Anthony Reed for hopping on live. And again, if you're seeing this as #replay, you can still put questions out there for Raul or Emelyn, and we will make sure we answer them. So have a great day, guys. Just hang a minute and I'll let you know how you're going to get everything. And again, thanks for the audience and thank you for your time. It was fun. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Same here. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bruce.